Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Deep Focus Show. I'm Aiden,
I'm Clay.
Max.
and welcome back to our continuing series on films of the 1950s, specifically Hollywood American films. And today's subject of the video is the 1950 self-aware film noir, melancholy, comedy, drama, so many different things by Billy Wilder, Sunset Boulevard. Probably one of the, 5 or 10 most iconic films of Hollywood's golden age. You guys want to give a bit of background on like what's your familiarity with the movie and, you know, is this first watch or had you heard of it and things like that?
Well, I've never heard about it before this, but watching the movie, I did kind of pick up on phrases that I've seen before. Like "I'm ready for my close up."
And I mean, I'd seen this a couple times before, but it had been a few years. So I mean, there are parts of the movie that just get stuck in your brain forever. But there were some parts I didn't really remember, like the monkey funeral and stuff. So it was nice to go back and get familiar with it again.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for me, it was like, I get, I heard of this movie a long time ago because it's like, oh, I'm ready for my close up, all the famous lines and stuff. It took me a long time to watch it. I didn't see it for the first time until I was, I think, 18. So yeah, and I've seen it like 3 times since then. It's one of my, favorite movies of all time, I guess. And I guess I can get into my review. I mean, basically, I just think this movie is kind of one of the great just Hollywood films out of everything. I really think it's almost every scene is so iconic. The story obviously is classic. It has that amazing original script by Wilder, and I'm blanking on his co-writer's name, the one he had before I.L. Diamond. It's like Charles something, but whoever he wrote it with, they did an excellent job. It's one of those stories where it totally like flows from beginning to end. Like I love the framing device of like how the guy is dead from the very beginning. And then the whole movie is this kind of like, how did he get here type of thing. It's very kind of fatalistic and noir-y in a cool way. I love the commentary on the film industry. There's a great kind of irony to it and a very biting, clever screenplay that's very good. That stuff's all great. Yeah, really strong stuff for me. There's not that much to say because I don't really have that many gripes, There's very few problems I really have with it. So, I mean, obviously it's 5 stars. It's like in my like top 10 favorite movies of all time. So, yeah, that's where I stand on it.
All right. Well, let me see. For me, I mean, this is I don't know if it's one of my favorite movies, full stop, but maybe. I mean, certainly of the 50s. I mean, certainly Wilder's filmography, it's up there. I don't know. I mean, it's a wonderful script. It's obviously, it's so quotable and whatnot. And I love the genre blend in it. I mean, it's noir largely, and you get that with the voiceover and everything. But it's a very atypical noir in a lot of ways. Like, most noirs are detectives and guns and mysteries and people getting, poisoned and shit. And it's like, in this it has those noir trappings, but it's this very unfamiliar kind of setting and situation. And I mean, there are other elements too. I mean, there are a lot of comedy elements in it, obviously, a lot of dark comedy, and there are even like horror elements that like pop up now and then. Like when he's like, searching through that creepy old house, and like Eric von Stroheim is like playing the organ and stuff. It's like it could almost be like it's kind of like Addams Family-ish, like the vibe of that old show. I think all four central performances, I mean, William Holden, Gloria Swanson, Eric von Stroheim, Nancy Olson, they all got Oscar nominations. And this is one of the few movies where I think if it had won every acting category, I wouldn't have been disappointed. I would have felt it was justified. There are very few like that. Like what, Streetcar Named Desire, probably, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, probably, and maybe this film. That's all I can think of. And I like also, I've always been like a fan of like anti-Hollywood Hollywood movies. I've always really enjoyed those. And to me, this was, I mean, I don't know if this was as innovative as I think it is, but like based on the movies I've seen, I hadn't really seen this before, where it's full of all these little like cameos from like big Hollywood players at the time. Like you obviously have Cecil B. DeMille playing himself, and you've got when Joe comes in and interrupts her bridge game, she's playing with like Buster Keaton and H.B. Warner. And then you have like playing piano at her party, you have Evans and Livingston, who wrote like what they write, like Mona Lisa and Que Sera Sera, stuff like that. So it's like all these it kind of like reminded me of like The Player by Robert Altman, that kind of thing. Yeah, that was fun. That was fun to see. And it must have been like a trip for people at the time to see all those people just scattered around. Eric von Stroheim, I think, I mean, he was primarily known as like a director, I think, at the time, but his acting in this is wonderful. It's like so subdued, and you can see like how much pain he's in underneath this very like stiff veneer. Gloria Swanson is just like incredible in it. Like one of the no, she didn't win the Oscar for it. It was Judy Holliday for Born Yesterday, which is ridiculous. Like Judy Holliday is super likable in that movie, but like is Gloria Swanson in Sunset Boulevard? Like, come on, like incredible. I mean, just from the acting to the writing to the technical aspects, the way it's shot, the way it's edited with that cool framing device with him in the pool and all of this. Yeah, I mean it's a 5-star movie. It's a brilliant movie, in my opinion.
Sunset Boulevard. Yeah, the film stars William Holden, Gloria Swanson, and Eric von Stroheim. It opens abruptly with gasp, a murder. The murder of Joe Gillis, played by William Golden. Yeah, the body in the pool, that's a trope I've seen quite often. I can't help but wonder if this was quite influential in that. We flash back to Joe's experience. Not too big on the excessive voiceovers, but that's fine. Joe finds himself at Norma Desmond's house, played by Swanson. She's a silent film star. She recruits Joe to hire him as a script director. I did like there's a lot of conversations about the difference between silent films and speaking films. I find that those types of dialogue pretty interesting. Poor Norma, she thinks she still got it, but her butler writes her fan mail, and I dislike her. She's so bratty, and I know that's a point, but you could call her a hack because no producer is interested in her or her ideas or her screenplay. And that's all this movie is really about, is just a murderous hack. Spoilers, but I tried to like this more. I didn't care for any of the characters. It was thrilling enough, so 3 stars. The killing is very overdramatic. I know this is the 50s, but sheesh. And yeah, I wish I liked it more.
That's fine. That's okay. It's okay. Everyone has their own opinions. It's okay.
What's your guys' favorite Billy Wilder movie?
The Apartment. This is like 3 number, but it's still like top 10 all time.
This is probably my second favorite after Double Indemnity.
Both of those I really want to see, but I haven't.
Well, we'll see. Maybe they will also get bad scores. I'm scared now. I don't know. I mean, I think some of the things, I see your criticisms, but some of them are like the voiceover. It's just like, I think the voiceover is great. Like it tells the story. Like, I don't know if you would have the same film without it so much.
Yeah, I've never really been a fan of excessive exposition. I get
It's
it.
it's kind of like a classic noir thing, like a trope of the genre. So it's, as a big fan of noir, like I dig it. But there are some movies that like Blade Runner tried to do the whole noir voiceover and it didn't really work there. But I think it works in this. I like it in this.
Yeah, I don't know. I've always been a big narration guy because I think it adds a very palpable kind of framework to a screenplay. But I don't know. I get why someone wouldn't like it. Do we have any closing thoughts?
I'm interested to see his other films. I just,
Okay.
I'm afraid for when you do. That's okay.
Yeah. Well, this episode kind of went off the rails, so I'm sorry, guys. I hope you enjoyed watching the episode anyway. And okay, thank you for watching, guys. Bye.